would say his Nokia couldn't update anymore. His own Nokia brick phone.
All right, welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Under the Dome. I'm your host, Allen Ulrich, here with my son, Matt Ulrich, tonight. Bob suddenly has technical problems. His phone died. And that's actually a big deal because he writes his articles through his phone, which I can't imagine, but he does it. He does this show through the phone. He does his show on the Bayou Blitz through the phone. And so it's a big deal. He lost his phone. It died on him. So he's out there scrambling right now to get a new phone. And so I had my son fill in. He's our pinch hitter on the show whenever Bob can't make it. And it's too late to kind of schedule things through the Bayou Blitz. Thanks, Jerry. Okay, so Matt, you and I watched the game together Sunday versus the Bills. And I know you and I talked during the game about what was going on, what went right, what went wrong, that kind of thing. But my question to you, and this is for everybody else too, my question to you is, we were expecting a blowout. The Saints were surprisingly in it, but it never seemed like, even though the opportunities were there, it never seemed like they had a shot to win this game. Mm-hmm. What did they do right?
Well, the first thing is they ran the football. If I can quote a wiser man once said, he's a Bama fan. I think you might know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Always says, run the ball. He has a T-shirt made out of it. And they ran the ball 34 times total. It counts the scrambles for over 180, for almost 200 yards, 189 yards, averaging over 5 yards a carry against a team that was already pretty bad against the run. So this at least tells me that the coach and staff is looking at these opponents after the matchup and is seeing what can work against them and what doesn't. Now, the Saints already going into the game had an all right run game. It's just you need more consistency and more commitment to it. You can't just do it all in the first half and then the second half you just decide, hey, Rattler, we're going to have you throw it 25 times in a row. You can't just do that. But what I'm hoping this tells Kellen Moore is you play the running backs more. You start running the football regardless of who you have the quarterback out there, and you try and be that run-first team so the game does not have to hinge on Rattler having to throw that ball.
Well, and that's where I was going to go with this next, but I don't want to go too deep into it because I really wanted to spend a whole segment on it. But, Rattler throwing the ball has become a problem. Mm-hmm. The good thing that we had was we were very effective running the football, and Rattler was very effective running the football. He knew when to scramble and when to run. So that was a good thing that he did. I'm not saying he cost the game or anything like that, but in a second we're going to talk about him. But there were things that he did that didn't help the Saints win a game. Defensively, did the Saints defense play well enough to win this game?
I would say no, they didn't, because for the defense to win, you have to take away a part of their game, and they really didn't. They didn't take away their run game with James Cook. They limited the passing game a little bit, especially after that 43-yard touchdown, but for the most part, they were able to complete most of their passes. The defense has to play better. It just has to play better. than what it's doing. I think it's a capable, average at best defense, but it's missing too many pieces. You're missing that number one corner to take away their best receiver. You're missing that shit wrecker of an edge rusher to get the opponent's quarterback to be uncomfortable in the pocket. You're missing those two important things. I think the linebackers are all right, and I think also you need better bodies on the defensive line. I think Brzee is okay, but Shepard is not playing well at all. He is playing terribly. And Devon Gotcha, I'm starting to notice he is getting pushed around a little too much. I know some of his double teams, a lot of his double teams and all that, but you traded for a nose guard and he's getting moved off of his spots a little too easily. He is not he's not standing his ground and trying to either redirect the runner or record a 1-yard gain.
Well, and I think that's why the Saints brought in so many different nose tackles and defensive linemen all off season. Now we've lost Brockton for the season. Ridgeway is out injured. So you really are down to Shepard, Christian Boyd, and that's really it as far as a true nose tackle. And I think that's part of the problem. The Saints want to rotate those guys in because no one is a dominant player. There's no Vita Vea. There's no, if we go back in time, I mean, there's no Jim Wilkes. There's no Chumpy Geathers. There's nobody in there. There's no Tony
Ted
Elliott.
Washington. There's no Vince Wilfork. There's
Tim Washington, Vince Wilfork are two good comparisons. Yeah, there's nobody in there who can tie up, the double teams in the center to let the linebackers flow to the play. And I get that. It took the Saints, when the Saints went from a 3-4 to a 4-3 back in the 90s, it took them about 3 years before they finally got the personnel to fit the team they wanted to be. Yeah. You got Leroy Glover in there. You got Norman Hand in there. You started getting some good players so you could really run a 4-3 defense. Well, this is what we're experiencing right now is a transition to a 3-4. We don't have all the pieces in place yet to really be effective in a 3-4 scheme, even a hybrid 3-4 scheme like we have. We need a better nose tackle. Yeah. So all Staley can do is just kind of rotate people in and out to try and find somebody who can have a good game. And I think Christian Boyd will eventually replace him, but losing Brockton really hurts. That's a real setback. Ridgeway not being available really hurts. It's not that he's going to be a great player, but it's just another body, a fresh set of legs to throw out there. So I think, when you got to a game like with a great offensive line, like the Buffalo Bills have, it became a challenge for the nose tackle to tie up the run, and James Cook was getting to the second level pretty easily. And as far as the other edge rusher, again, the longer Cam Jordan's out there, the more limited he looks because of his age. Not having Chase Young again for another week really hurts him. So I think that's part of the problem with the front seven. Yeah. And it's not something that's going to get cured this year. This is just going to be, people are already throwing mock drafts up, of course, because we're 0-4. But, in the mock draft, you see people looking at an edge rusher, an elite edge rusher, which is a good thing. I mean, I like that. I would not mind the kid from Miami. I mean, we're way, way, way away from talking about the NFL draft. But, when we're looking at positions that we need to address, getting an edge rusher would be a great position to address. Getting another nose tackle would be a great position to address. The Bills have somebody I wanted this past draft, Deontay Walker. You saw the difference with him.
Yep.
It wasn't a cure-all because the Bills are missing two of their best running players, run defenders on defense, and we had our best rushing game in I don't know how long. We almost had 200 yards rushing.
Yeah. Probably the last time we went to Buffalo where we almost had 200 yards rushing with Kamara and Mark Ingram.
Yeah. So you said the linebackers aren't bad. I thought Demario Davis had a good game. Pete Werner flashes. But the secondary was a problem this year. I mean, not the safeties. Although Justin Reed got out of position a couple of times, but I thought Sanker played a really good game for a rookie. But we're seeing a lot of weaknesses in Kool-Aid McKinstry and Issac Yiadom.
Well, fortunately, he finally got benched.
Did he get benched though for good? That's what we have to we have to wait and see. I hope he did get benched for good.
Because on a defensive snap log, he only played 12 snaps, while Quincy Riley logged in 24. So hopefully this is more of a long-term thing because I thought there were times Riley was in better position. He reacted a lot quicker. Like as soon as the ball was around his area, you immediately saw 29 in a good position to make a play when he had Yiadom, who always looked like he was trying to catch up.
Well, yeah, he's faster, better closing speed. McKinstry's getting burned on crossing routes. Anytime they can match him up with pure speed. And some of it is rookie mistakes. I mean, this is his second year, but he is making the kind of mistakes that a guy makes as an inexperienced player. They catch him looking in the backfield. They catch him watching what's happening in front of him instead of reacting, knowing where the ball is going to go.
Yeah.
And that comes with experience. I can live with McKinstry's issues right now because it's all mental. It's not physical. With Yiadom, it's physical. He's a physically limited player. I think Riley's got a higher upside than him. So, like you said, it looks like he's always playing catch up. That's why Riley, I think, it's ready for him to start. But we're going to see a lot of games now.
Yeah. There was actually one play in the game with Quincy Riley. So, the wide receiver, I think it was Josh Palmer, number 5. He's running a comeback route. It's like third or second and like 20 something because the Bills were having their unusual day where they were having penalties left and right.
Yeah.
And Riley is playing a bit off coverage. He sees Palmer get ready to dig, and he hesitates for half a second. You see him kind of tap his feet a little bit, and then
like it's going to be a double move.
Yeah. And then he reacts to the ball, and you can tell he's a half second late because the ball just gets there, and it's just one of those things. Like if that was Yiadom, that would have been a bigger play because Yiadom would have been out of position and would have reacted way later. But Riley was a half a second late, and if he timed it perfectly, which comes with experience and reps.
And recognizing what they're going to do.
Yeah, he makes a play on that ball. Either it's a tip pass away and you have third and long, or maybe it's an interception if he's luckier, where it's now another possession in favor of the Saints.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is, and I know why they're hesitant to put all these young players out there, because that's a lot of mistakes that could happen because their communication issues, experienced players like imagine Puka Nacua going through the secondary right now. I mean, he would just tear us apart.
Yeah.
But the advantage is you're getting playing time. You're almost viewing this like an entire preseason where these guys are getting experience back there and they will learn. and they're going to make a lot of mistakes. They're going to get burned, and they're going to have things happen. But in the long run, they're going to be better players because of this experience, because they understand now what they're seeing on film. Yeah, I'm excited too, Hemisphere. I like Riley and Sanker back there.
Yeah. I wasn't just impressed with Sanker's interception. I was most impressed how he was defending the tight ends, because he's getting himself not only in perfect position, but he's angling his body in a particular way where he doesn't have to grab the tight end's waist or arm to try and get appropriate positioning. Like on that tip pass just before the interception, he is not grabbing that tight end, so the tight end cannot cry to the ref, "He was holding me. Where's the flag?" And he makes a perfect play on the ball. That's what impressed me more outside of the interception.
Oh, he high pointed it. He high pointed it and batted it away. The next step is him picking it off. So absolutely. And like I said, they're going to be games where they're not that good. They're going to be games where they do get beat and they make mistakes. But I am more tolerant of that only because they're young players, and this is the time to learn. This is the time to develop. So I am willing to wait for these guys to grow. And it's beyond the fact that they get them will cost us a 4th round compensatory pick if he plays too much. I just think that Riley's kind of beat him out by now and is the better player. And I just want to see him out there. I really do. And I like the way Sankers responded. I'd like to see Riley respond the same. McKinstry is going to have his issues, but we have to see if the upside is there. I think the upside is there. It's just we have to be patient.
I am going to laugh. Let's say Quincy Riley gets an interception against the Giants. Kellen Moore and Brandon Sierra are going to feel the entire stadium just stare right at them, wondering, why did we have to tolerate Issac Yiadom for 3 weeks?
Right.
It'll just be simultaneous, and you'll just hear the sweat drop off of his brow.
But I get it. I get why you don't want that many rookies out there at one time, because you're really exposing yourself. You'd hope a veteran knows better, but you need to have those guys out there. It's time for them to step in. They missed that tackle on Josh Allen, but he is the NFL MVP. I felt like the Bills were playing with their prey a little bit, like a cat plays with a mouse, thinking that, it's a matter of time before I kill you, but I'm going to play with you for a little while. There were opportunities that the Saints obviously missed on that cost them the game. The Bills played an uncharacteristically sloppy game. They had all the penalties, not us. A lot of pre-snap penalties. But there were also opportunities out there that the Saints had to really make the Bills work, to make things happen. And we'll talk about that now. Granderson in coverage that allowed the TD for the tight end. If we get more pressure in the inside on Allen, that probably doesn't happen because he has to get rid of the ball sooner. But he had enough time back there. They couldn't get off their blocks. That's why that really looked egregious. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's traditional for a 3-4 to have one of your edge rushers drop back, even if it's a guy that traditionally you don't drop in coverage. But that lack of pressure that the Saints are not getting, it's going to be really bad. Like, I'm pretty sure you put Chase Young in there, that quarterback is a little more uncomfortable.
Well, you when you have your edge rusher go off in coverage, it's probably because Alontae Taylor is coming in on a blitz. And I don't remember that specific coverage, but chances are whoever was coming in on the blitz was picked up and it was late, and it gave Allen time to get rid of the ball. Thus, you get the mismatch because Allen's expecting the cornerback to go with the tight end.
Yeah.
And the pressure to come from the edge rusher. The reverse happens. So you got to hope the blocker can get him. And the cornerback, if it is a cornerback coming at him, cornerback is faster than the pass protector. Like on the, let's just look at the Philly special they tried to run in the goal line.
Yeah.
It's a good time to call that play. The execution, setting it up, worked. The problem was Olave throws it a little late, probably a half a second late, and he floats it a little bit instead of throwing more of a harder pass, which he's a receiver. He's not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah, who do you think he is?
And
Willie
Cole
Snead?
Bishop made an outstanding play.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Cole Bishop. You go back and look at the tape. He wasn't fooled for a second. As soon as he saw Rattler start the run, he's like,
"Yes,
hold on a
he
second."
knew it.
Yeah,
he knew
like,
exactly what it was.
Yep. And I don't fault Olave too much because again, Olave is not just receiver. It's probably the first. They don't run it in practice much, so he probably, you still got to work on it. But I think
he probably hit it 4 out of 4 times in practice when they ran it.
If he puts it more on a line, that's probably at least not an interception.
Yeah, you look at the go back to the 2017 playoff game against the Vikings. With Willie Snead.
Yeah.
He runs that. They run that quarterback option pass where he goes like on a jet sweep, but then he stops and throws it. Alvin Kamara is wide open, and Snead just misses him. He throws it a little bit too far. And, like they said, in practice, I think Troy Aikman was doing the game. He said in practice, I bet you hit that play 9 times out of 10. This just that one time it didn't work. That's what happens when you run those trick plays. There's always a chance it doesn't work. And Bishop making the right read is why it didn't work. So I don't really fault that. The one I got more upset about was the 2-point conversion play. Because you come out in one formation, okay? The Vikings, the Bills they only have 10 guys in the field, so they call timeout.
Yeah.
And they come right back and run the exact same play. I wouldn't have done that. I might have run the same play, but hide it better. I probably, change the way the play looks just so because they were ready for it.
Yeah.
And you could see that. That's why even though Rattler got a put, he's not Taysom Hill. He's not going to carry people into the end zone. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So I just didn't like the play. I almost wanted the pitch to Kamara with the tight ends holding the block and let Kamara run to the outside. Like the Washington game. When they pitch it to Kamara and Josh Hill on the big comeback in 2017.
Yeah.
Kamara runs to the corner. I would have liked to see that play run. I think that play would have worked.
Yeah. Or maybe I would have liked to see it's a fake pitch. Well, no, I would step back, throw quickly to either Matava or Stoll, and the other one just gets ready to block. And once he got the ball, maybe I would do it to Matava. He gets the 2-pointer.
Yeah, I mean they run. I don't know how good those receivers are, and I'm with you guys. I didn't really want to run a 2-point play because I think you're chasing points and there's too much time in the game. You're trying to get it within 3, so a field goal will tie. But it's too much time left in the game. You run the 2-point when you need it because you went from possibly 3 points down to 5 points down. So I just didn't. I would have just stuck with the 4 and leave it at that. I know analytically it tells you go ahead and go for 2 because 4 points and 5 points is no difference. But I just didn't like the call, and I didn't like the play they chose to run. I just you don't chase points at that point in the game. Take the extra point and just let the game play out some more. But the way that the Bills covered that play, nobody was on the tight ends. They only had 2 guys kind of walk out there to cover them. I think if they run the pitch play, Kamara gets to that corner long before the Bills get the penetration to get inside. Mm-hmm. And the 2 tight ends can block because you're within 5 yards, so you can block. They can block those 2 guys and just let Kamara go in there untouched. It would have worked perfectly. Speaking of other people who got replaced, Cesar Ruiz got injured in the game, and this was actually a plus. This is why I wanted Bob on the show tonight. No offense to you. Bob's going to look at the film.
Yeah.
My question is, once Ruiz went out with an injury, did the offensive line look like it was blocking better?
I felt might need to look back at the tape because I do have NFL Plus. I can always look at the tape, but I felt like it was about this. I think it's about the same, maybe a little better in pass pro. There were some positives, some negatives, but again, I would have to look back. I would have to actually look at the tape whenever I get some free time.
Yeah, I thought there was less leakage, if that makes any sense. I thought Simpkins kind of held his block a lot more than Ruiz. I mean, Ruiz was olaying people at times because, again, like you said, he dives, he lunges too much, and that gets him out of position.
So I'm pointing this out last week. What Ruiz does so many times is called a two-handed punch. And it's where instead of, just having you punch with one hand and then you have your free end ready for as a counter, instead you're going with both hands, and all you need to do is just swipe at one, and all of a sudden Ruiz is flying in a random direction, blocking his own guy, and a rusher has a free lane to the quarterback from the inside.
Right. That's why, when Ruiz went down with an injury and he's going to be out for a little while, I'm like, oh, that's really bad. I'm really sorry to see that. Now we're going to have other guys come in there and maybe he gets Wally pipped.
Yeah.
Which I would look forward to. I think I'm not going to cheer a guy's injury. Yeah. I just think that at this point we need to see someone else in there so the coaches can decide, you know what, it's time to sitting. It really is. It's time to sitting.
Yeah. Right now it might be Simpkins, but keep an eye on Dylan Redunce once he comes back, because I think he would get the start over Simpkins if they had to.
Yeah, I think so as well, because once again, you're talking about an undrafted free agent rookie versus a guy at least who's a veteran. Yeah. They're going to want to put veterans in there. Penning. How do you think Penning held up overall?
Uneven. He made some mistakes. He made some solid plays. I thought he was part of the plus in the run game, but it's his first game officially at guard after being out for 3 games or not active for 3 games.
Yeah.
So he, knocking off a little bit of rust. It happens, but the positive thing was he wasn't called for holding.
No.
That's the one positive.
Wasn't called for holding, and he really... Only a couple of times I saw him get beat, and it really more him making a mental error, not a physical error.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I thought he held up pretty well against a good defensive line. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true the rest of the season, but I was happy with his. I was happy with his production. I wasn't, he wasn't getting, like you said, he wasn't getting called for penalties. That's a plus, Again, everything's all a work in progress. It's work in progress. These guys have to work together to see who fits in. I think it was hemisphere said the coaching staff is still trying to figure out how to put players in position to make plays. And I think that's exactly right. They're still trying to figure out where people go, what positions they play best. And it's going to be an ongoing evaluation. Where do we have to build from here? And the young guys have to get experience. Speaking of young guys, it's been 4 weeks. He hasn't come out with an injury yet, knock on simulated wood here. But Kendre Miller, I kept telling Bob all off season, it's really stressing me out to think that we got to rely on Kendre Miller to be the inside power running back on this team. But he seems to be taking that role on. He had his best game as a pro this past week.
Yeah.
I don't expect that every week because the Bills right now are terrible on run defense, but you got to like what you're seeing out of Kendre Miller. How do you feel about him?
So the good news about Kendre. So Jeff Duncan pulled it up. I know how we all feel about PFF. We all know how we feel about him, but what PFF loves Kendre Miller. I will say that. According to their grades, he's their 6th rated running back, 6th best running back in the league. He leads all running backs in elusive rating with 155.8. It's similar. I don't know how you properly calculate it, but it's treated similar to a quarterback's passer rating.
Yeah.
In 4 games, they recorded with 12 missed tackles on 28 carries and gained 104 of his 124 yards after initial contact.
Yeah.
So he is doing a good job at making the first guy miss and trying to get yards after that initial contact. So I see where they're getting it, but I think there needs to be you need to get a calculator for that and show your formula a little bit, because like
show me your work.
Yeah, there is a NFL passer rating calculator to where you can type in the stats, how many touchdowns, how many yards, and even on the bottom it shows you what the proper formula is to getting a accurate passer rating. But for this, it feels like I want to see your work. Show me your work.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. He's gotten better across the board as far as a running back, as a pass catcher, as a blocker. There was a great blitz pickup he did where he came from the other side of Rattler, undercut whoever it was that was rushing, basically got the guy head over heels out of his way, and it gave Rattler time to make a throw. That's perfect. That's what you want him to do. And he's becoming a more decisive runner. Put your foot in the ground and go. That's we can see him growing up, and that's a good thing. I'm excited about that. I'm very happy about that.
I'm looking at the Giants' defense in terms of yardage. They allowed the 4th most yards they allowed the 4th most yards in the NFL, and they also had the 4th worst run defense, allowing 153 yards a game. So there is a really good chance we could have probably not a 200-yard game, another 200-yard game, but close to it. They are not a good defense at all.
Well, and that's the key when we go to play the Giants. You're going to see a lot of the same kind of thing. Kamara got outside a lot. You saw a lot of inside running out of Miller. You saw Rattler take off and run, at good times. And the offensive line was making the holes so these guys could go through it.
Yeah.
So now we have to talk about some of the bad stuff. Rattler did throw a touchdown pass. Once again, no interceptions. He only has that one, and that's really more of a Hail Mary kind of interception, not like a early in the game, just a bad throw kind of interception. But Rattler's inaccuracy is starting to really hurt the Saints in their ways of competing and putting themselves in positions to win the game. We saw this against Arizona. We saw it again against the 49ers when he had, I think, a wide open Chris Olave, and he threw the ball behind him in the end zone. And then this past Sunday with Brandon Cooks. Cooks had a great opportunity to make a throw and get a touchdown, get a catch, for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And Rattler just did not complete the pass or throw a good ball. And it ended up, although Cooks tried to save it, ended up being incomplete. Instead of taking a 22-21 lead, the Saints had to settle for a field goal, and they were never any closer.
Yeah.
Rattler's completing 67% of his passes, but it's also for, I think, an average of 4.7 yards, which is like one of the worst in the league.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the yards per reception totals plummet for the receivers, Shaheed and Olave.
Yeah.
They were in the double digits last year. This year, they're in the single digits. It's like going from like 12.5 yards a catch to 6, or 14 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the play calling, or is it the decision making of Rattler and his inaccuracy with deeper balls?
I would say it's definitely more on Rattler because, Saints Twitter is finding, they're posting a tape and they're seeing routes being set up where Olave and Shaheed are open, 10 to 15 yards, and you're seeing the pocket, and it's fairly clean. Even on the Brandon Cooks pass, it was a clean pocket. He wasn't under pressure. He wasn't being forced to throw off his back foot. It's just his mechanics are just not good. Yeah. And so these throws are off. Like, this was a problem with him in college.
Yeah,
both
that's
in Oklahoma
the big
and South
thing.
Carolina. Because Ziegler posted this, all of his accuracy ratings from 20 yards deep. He's, I think the best he had was, 50% completion when in 2022 at South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he cannot accurately throw the ball down the field. He just it's all mechanical. His footwork is not there. He's kind of relying more on his arm than on his entire body. It's just he's not good at throwing the ball deep.
Well, it's okay. So it's muscle memory. It becomes consistency. Drew Brees, and I'm not trying to say that every guy has to be like Drew Brees. I'm just using Drew Brees as the ultimate example.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees, it was all muscle memory. He would sit there and go through his progressions every day, every offseason. He's going with a quarterback's mechanics coach. So the release point is the same every single time. He's generating power the same way every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Famously, that story about him running through the plays on his off week in 2006 by himself out in the field, he is running through every single play that they're going to run as if he's playing a game. So his body gets used to, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it becomes muscle memory. He's releasing the ball at the same point. Rattler is, at this point in his career, the exact opposite as far as his release point. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's here. I'll get it so you can see it. Now, it's not much of a difference. If I release it here or release it here, that's a huge difference in the NFL as far as where the ball is going to end up. Yeah. Release it here, it's at a higher point. Release it here, it's more flat. Release it here, it's going to start nosediving earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he's doing this on purpose or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. That's just something, just one thing that's very simple And it's that inconsistency. Where is that release point? Now, it's not as dramatic as I'm showing you right here, but it's when you watch Drew Brees, it's the same every time. It's like a machine out there.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'm saying this is a big deal is because he's missing throws that every quarterback in the NFL can make. And that's not a good thing. You have to be better at that. And if you don't get better than that, there's no reason to keep putting you out there because we need a guy who is going to be able to do that. Now, I know when you look at around the league, you see guys like Patrick Mahomes, for example. He throws it. Sometimes he throws it sidearm. Sometimes he throws it like a fastball.
Yeah.
And I saw the same thing with Josh Allen. I see it from Lamar Jackson. He's 2 MVP guys, 3 MVP guys I just named. Aaron Rodgers has different mechanics. I get all that. But my point is, to be an accurate passer, this all from release, brain, release, arm, shoulders, generating the torque for the power, footwork, your base, all that has to be still consistent for you to get that kind of, to just like be a jugs machine, just getting that ball out. Even though, like, say, for example, Patrick Mahomes' mechanics, even though he's throwing the ball across his body and stuff you shouldn't be doing, he's still squaring his shoulders. He still has a good base. He is still generating torque in his body to get that ball out. That's what makes him a great quarterback. The arm angles are different, but he's still engaging in basic mechanics that work. And Rattler's not there yet. And I think that's hurting him because missing those scoring opportunities will end up or are ending up costing the Saints games. They're winnable games. The 49ers game, the Cardinals game, even to an extent the Bills game. You had chances to win you had chances to win the game.
Yeah.
And you don't do it because you miss that one play. And we're not good enough to overcome missed opportunities,
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And I think Rattler is very closely approaching that ceiling, and it's a lot lower than people want it to be.
Yeah,
some people want to think he's still a potential franchise quarterback. He just needs more time. No. At best a 15-year backup where he goes from team to team. They give him $5 million and say, "Hey, you're our second string quarterback. You're our relief guy."
I think he's better than Chase Daniel. You just described Chase Daniel's career.
Yeah.
But he could be, I don't know. I don't want to say Luke McCown, but a Brent Huntley. No, that's not even a good comparison either. His ceiling could be a Jimmy Garoppolo in the right system.
I can see
I'm
that.
not going to be. I'm not.
Maybe a Fitzpatrick.
Or Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, or Ryan Fitzpatrick's another one. His ceiling is a good, consistent backup if he gets those mechanic issues straight.
Mm-hmm.
But that's hard to do because he didn't get the coaching in college that he needed to be ready to be a pro every down quarterback.
Yeah.
So the question is now, is it Shough time or is he still not ready and we need to wait? Because the Giants benched Russell Wilson and they're going with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart gave him a win over a pretty good defense in the Chargers.
Yep.
We just saw the Browns make a move this week. They're benching Joe Flacco for Dylan Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how long that lasts. But Dylan Gabriel's getting the start.
Yeah.
So this is about the time of the year I was thinking that Shough was going to get his start, because you're playing the Giants, you're playing the Patriots next week, both of them at home, home crowd, teams that aren't that much more talented than you are. These are good opportunities to make the switch. Would you make the switch now?
I mean, I would, because the hard part is out. You don't have, you're not playing. The next few games are teams that haven't made the playoffs in a few years.
Yeah.
They're teams that are along the same level as you, both talent and ceiling wise. Now is the time, I would say, to make the change. If this was part of Kellen Moore's plan to sit Rattler, to have Rattler start for the first 4 weeks and then play Shough, then I'll go ahead and do it. But I'm willing to think they're going to wait 2 more weeks. They'll wait 2 more.
Tough.
Yeah, it's tough because you're starting a quarterback that's 0-10 now as a starter. You're starting a guy that everyone's starting to look at the tape and realize, he's missing.
He doesn't throw a deep ball. He doesn't throw a deep ball, so you get in a soft shell and you press those receivers, and your receivers are built to run deep routes, take the top off of defenses.
Yeah.
You have lots of speed out there, but that's not the kind of team that the kind of offense they're running. They're running shallow crosses underneath stuff because your quarterback throws shallow and underneath.
Yeah.
So the defense is just slowly cheating up step by step, and it's putting more and more pressure on your quarterback to make good throws.
Yep. And at some point you have to say, like, I agree when Kellen Moore says, he's not playing bad. We have confidence in him. I think it should be more of, he is playing good, but we aren't going anywhere. We feel like we're getting into the same era. We're in a rut.
You're not scoring enough points.
Yeah.
That's the fact. You're not scoring enough points.
Yeah, you're averaging 16 points per game. That's fourth worst in the league. That's not your passing offense is bottom in the league. Your rushing attack is right there above average. I mean, your passing attack and your rushing and your scoring points are just not sustainable.
Right.
You can't tell me that having your top 2 receivers both average less than 10 yards per catch is something that you want. You can't tell me that seeing these missed throws that end up being these huge point swings that could have been, instead of being 7-3, it's 7-7, or instead of being 10-7, it's 14-7. You can't tell me that you're just going to live with that. Eventually, you have to rip off the Band-Aid and say, Rattler, thanks for what you have done, but we're going in a different direction because we're playing too safe and we need to see more.
Well, as you said, his accuracy on the deeper passes drops considerably, and it goes back to college. It's not even going back to last year. He's just not pushing the ball down the field. There were opportunities in the Bills game where he could have pushed the ball down the field, and he played safe and conservative because he doesn't want to make a mistake. And I get that. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But at some point, you've got to start pushing the ball down the field. You've got the receivers to do that. You're playing the Giants. You're playing the Patriots. Neither of these teams have great secondaries or great defenses that really jump on passes. We need a guy who can push the ball down the field. We need a guy who can hit receivers in stride. We're not seeing that right now. I don't know if Tyler Shough is the guy. You spent the 40th overall pick on him, so you're going to need to know sooner or later.
Yeah.
I want to do it this week because it's the Giants and because it's the Patriots the following week, both of them at home. After that, it's the Bears in Chicago. I wouldn't want to start a guy on the road like that.
Yeah, and I will say,
but then after the Bears, now you're dealing with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay and Los Angeles are the 2 toughest teams you have left on the schedule.
Yeah.
because I think I'm not that impressed with the Falcons. Yeah, they beat the hell out of the Redskins. Oh, I'm sorry, Commanders last week, but the Commanders were missing their quarterback and their running back, and they made a lot of mistakes. The Falcons are not that impressive a team. Outside of that, we just saw the Patriots beat the hell out of the Panthers. We play the Panthers twice, play the Falcons twice, we play the Dolphins, we play the Jets. You know,
play the Titans.
The Titans. All those are beatable teams because we're around the same level as far as talent and capabilities. They may have better, some of those may have better quarterbacks. They probably do have better quarterbacks at this point. But my thing is, if not now, when? The bye week, week 11? Is that really far? How far you want to go? That's a long way. I don't want to be 0-10 going into that game. You know, and I just don't feel that Rattler is going to ever get it. So I'm more willing, because I saw it in the preseason. I don't know if it's going to carry over, but I was seeing in the preseason, he threw the deep ball very well. He hit receivers in stride. He was putting the ball right there between numbers. He's going to make a lot of mistakes too. Don't get me wrong. His mechanics aren't perfect. And he doesn't know the defenses. Rattler knows them at least a little bit better. But he's going to make mistakes because of the speed of the game. But you invested the 40th overall pick. You and I are watching college football every weekend now, going, is this guy going to be a good quarterback? Is this guy going to be worth drafting? I really don't want to get into that right now. I mean, the guy I like still isn't, people aren't too hot on him right now. Drew Allard with Penn State, because of the Penn State's kooky offense.
Yeah.
But
there's a couple quarterbacks that really caught my eye, and it's Oregon's Dante Moore, who I think has a lot of talent with his throwing ability, and Fernando Mendoza from Indiana.
I'm hearing his name a lot right now, you know.
I think you might like him. Big kid, good arm. He's athletic, but he's not a runner. His mechanics are honestly pretty good. I think you might like him. I don't think.
And everyone in the usual suspects are all out there pushing Sanker right now, because
Sellers.
Sellers, the kid from South Carolina. Sorry, not Sanker. Sellers, the kid from South Carolina, because he checks the boxes. Mobile quarterback. Throws deep ball. That's all they care about. It's like, that's it. That's the draft pick. I don't care if he does anything else. He just throws the deep ball and he runs. Yeah. And it's like, dude, there's so much more to a quarterback play than that. But it's the usual suspects. They always want the one-man gang quarterback, the guy who does it all. And it's just not, that doesn't happen that way. I want a field general. That's what I'm looking for.
I will say, Dad, on October 11th, you got Indiana versus Oregon. You got Mendoza versus Dante Moore, and it's on CBS. So you get a good announcing crew to watch it if you actually want to see these two kids go against each other.
Hey, I'm impressed with the kid from Alabama right now.
I hope he stays another year, because he's only going to hit, if we're being honest, he's only going to have 13 starts.
Oh yeah, right now he's just Mac Jones, but I'm impressed that he's playing like Mac Jones in Alabama.
Yeah, I still love the nickname. Someone called him Bama Chad Pennington.
I think his arm's a little bit stronger than that, but I think it's time to start sliding Stutzman in a little bit more. Ford unfortunately got flagged. It wasn't his fault. It was actually Sewell that made the mistake, but Neffy Sewell. And he just dove and slid. It happens. And the punter was really playing it up to draw the flag for sure. But if you hit the plant leg, it's always going to be roughing. It's unfortunate. I don't think it cost him the game, but it cost him an opportunity. If the Saints, because the Saints held them, if they get that punt and they have an opportunity to drive the ball, they at least can get the game closer, possibly, I don't know, 26, 27, that kind of thing, where they're going for two to see if they can tie. I think that would have been interesting to see if they can get it that close, because it was 5 minutes left. But that's one of those things that's like you're not good enough to overcome even the few mistakes you made. And that was a mistake you made with 5 minutes left. You've got no timeouts now. You didn't give yourself an opportunity to compete to possibly win the game, or at least tie it. He just slid into him. He really did, but that's why you can't hit the plant leg, because the punter's going to go down hard when you do that. But yeah, I'm getting ready to start seeing him work Stutzman and Ford in a little bit more in some packages, subbing in for Werner. I don't know where they are mentally, but I'm getting closer and closer to want to see Stutzman in there on defensive series, because I just think he's a heat-seeking missile, and I'm ready to see him out there starting to hit guys. And you guys, all y'all remember when we were talking, Bob and I were talking, I kept saying over and over again, it's more important how this team plays in November and December than it is right now in September. We're a day from it's a few hours away from me on October 1st. This is when we should start seeing more rookies in. This is when we should start seeing what we have, so we know what to draft next year. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah. Hey, there's a reason why I'm wearing Taysom Hill's jersey today. Taysom Hill is going to start practicing. He's going to get cleared from the PUP list soon. I think they got 2 weeks to make that decision. And Foster Moreau as well. That means we're going to see possibly some better tight end play, better, definite short yardage stuff. I thought Taysom probably could have helped them win a couple of these games that they didn't win. If you got Taysom in there, you probably get the 2-point conversion. You got Taysom in there, you probably get the touchdown. You don't go for the Philly special. He's 35 years old. When do you expect to see Taysom out there? And do you think that maybe Taysom isn't going to be that effective?
I think he could be available against the Patriots, and he'll get like 5 snaps. And don't forget, also Foster Moreau is coming back too. And I think they're going to get a few snaps, but I think the guy they might get rid of first, they're going to get rid of, I think, both. I think they're both going to get rid of the tight end Stoll and Multavo.
They'll probably put him back in the practice squad. They're not going to get rid of him.
Yeah, they're both going to be put back on the practice squad.
Here's a question. Now, I'm going to get your opinion on this, because I've got mine. It seems Olave is showing signs of thinking about his concussions. That one pass Rattler threw to him on the sidelines, he dropped, and he could have caught it. What is your opinion of Olave right now? Do you think it is the concussions, or do you think he's just this is who he is?
I think the concussions play a part of it, because remember Damian Swann from 10 years ago? He got 3 concussions in one season. And then when he came back, he wasn't the same player. He wasn't nearly as aggressive. He wasn't nearly as tenacious as he was that he flashed in his rookie year. And it was a shame, because I was actually looking forward to Damian Swann. But, going back to Olave, I think some of it is definitely the concussions. I think other parts, it's just, it is who he is. He's not a number 1. He's a number 2. But, I do want to see Shough throw into him, because if you have a better quarterback who's able to let him run a little deeper, run
yards
better
after the
reps,
catch.
give him yak yardage, If the plan is to trade him, you want to try and get the most out of his value. It's like having a brand new sports car, and here you are having to turn in suburbs when you want it out on a track, showing off its high-end engine and its speed.
My thing with Olave, and we saw this in 2022, we've seen this in 2023 as well. It's gaps in concentration. He doesn't always look the ball in. He doesn't always. He looks. He just has lapses in concentration. That's the best way I can put it. I don't want to say he's scared, because you can't be scared out there. I just think it's just him not focusing enough on completing the play and taking it one play at a time, as Marty Schottenheimer used to say. he just doesn't execute consistently enough. And I think that's what kind of hurts him. And that's why he's not a number one guy. He is more of a 2-3 kind of guy. And yeah, the quarterback does hurt, because a more accurate ball, he has a chance of bringing it in, catching it in stride, and showing his speed. But he makes some of the difficult catches too. So that's why I think it's more of a concentration issue. He's just not concentrating enough to look the ball in to make the catch. I don't know if we're going to trade him or not. He's got the most value of the guys, and we're probably not going to pay him. We're probably going to pay Rashid Shaheed, but we got to figure out a quarterback first. If they were just good balls coming, this is my issue I had when people were saying last year, we can't really hold the 0-7 starting streak or 0-6 starting streak against Rattler, because he was playing with backup receivers and playing with a backup offensive line and stuff. Yeah, I know that. But the issue is it's not a case of him throwing a perfect pass and receivers dropping it. That's my big thing. It's a case of a guy who's throwing to second and third tier level receivers, but they're not just dropping his good passes. It's bad passes being thrown to bad receivers. So, and I think that's what hurts him.
Yeah. And, I'm looking at some of it. You go back and look at some of this tape. One thing I feel like he was so prepared to fix, he wanted to get corrected, was his sack rate, because he kept hearing, man,
and he's done a good job.
A bunch of sacks. Yeah, he's done that. And I think one reason why he's not having his giant sack rate is he's checking down the ball immediately.
He's getting rid of it quick.
Yeah, he wants to get that ball out of his hands. It's a hot potato instead of let's see how the play develops and went, and it's now I throw it to this area.
He doesn't trust what he's seeing, and that's a lack of experience coupled with, him not being that confident in being able to hit those deeper guys. Yeah. I'm going to take what the defense is giving me, because I don't know if I throw this ball, is someone going to suddenly break across the middle and take it away, pick it off, and I don't want to cost my team a possession. And when you play cautious like that, eventually defenses start squeezing you. And that's why he has trouble in the red zone, because once you get to the red zone, the field shrinks, and it's harder for these receivers to get separation. So you have to throw guys open, and that's where he's having trouble there too. Yeah. So you think it's going to be a couple weeks? I'd like to see this week, no later than next week, they make the switch. Yeah. But we'll see what Kellen Moore does. First practice is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him coming out this week and making the switch, but
Yeah.
I would definitely be in the room with Tyler Shough saying, "You better be ready because you may come in today, Sunday." So, yeah, Foster Moreau. Yeah, we did say hemisphere. Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill coming back.
Yeah.
I just don't know when they'll be active. It may not be until the New England game. At latest is the Chicago Bears game. We'll find out more this week. They just can start practicing today or tomorrow. And that's really, really good news because they need those guys. The issue is we don't have enough talented veterans. These guys are still talented veterans to help these rookies and can make plays to help this team win. And I don't care about draft position. I just would like to win a couple games. I do not want to go 0-17. I've lived through 1-15. I'm old enough to have been through the 1-15 Saints. This is not going to be a 1-15 team. It's no fun watching 1-15 teams. If you were pissed off that too many 49er fans were in the stands, imagine stands just being empty and how bad that is. And that's not going to get Mickey Loomis fired. I don't care what you think. That won't get Mickey Loomis fired. Empty stands. Matt, real quick, last thing tonight.
Yeah.
Thumbnail sketch from the Giants. Giants offense. They lost former LSU star Malik Neighbors. So who are they going to start targeting? Who are their receivers? And Cam Scatterboo versus the Saints defense. How do you think that matches up?
Well, Scatterboo versus Saints defense might not play as well as probably one. He's not a burner, but he's a guy that tries to does make the first guy miss. He makes guys miss. And with the New York Giants, so their receiving core comprises of Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Big Play Slayton. And, they got I would say a pretty average receiving core because I feel like Malik Neighbors was their big guy, but now he's on injured reserve. They got other guys like this Tennessee receiver that I like, Jalen Hyatt, but he's been inconsistent. They got Bo Collins from Notre Dame that I liked, but
do they have a tight end that's going to give us problems?
A little bit. Theo Johnson's not a bad guy. Neither is Daniel Bellinger. They're unknown names, but I would say they're no better than probably what the Bills have with Dawson Knox, their second string tight end.
Okay. And
the only thing, yeah.
I was going to say Jackson Dart versus our defense.
The key thing is going to be to limit his scrambles because he is going to tuck and run it. He is going to try and run as many times as he can. So you better be disciplined in your run lanes.
Which actually the Saints have been. They're not letting these guys get out as much. And I think the Garrett Nussmeier train is derailed. They flipped it over. It's now at the California high-speed rail station as far as people not wanting to touch it. Because, there's no interest in Garrett Nussmeier anymore.
Now, here's an interesting one. We're going against Paulson Adebo. Is this going to be a revenge game from him? Is this going to be a revenge game for Paulson Adebo? Is he going to get an interception, or is he going to give us what he always gives us? Third and 10. He stops it, but there's a flag on the
pass
play.
Interference.
Yep, hold up. There's a flag on the field.
Yeah. Giants defense against Saints offense. You already said the run defense isn't very good. The pass defense hasn't been very good either because Dallas was throwing the ball all over them. If Rattler wants to show he can throw the deep ball, this is probably the game that he should do it.
Yeah.
Pushing the ball downfield. And it's weird because he did throw some downfield with the beat up Saints receivers. If he can hit Shaheed on a deep ball, I think that would just do a tremendous advantage for him. Just split the cover 2, have Shaheed take off on a seam route or a skinny post, and just hit him. You know, I just don't know if it'll happen. Yeah, and I think, like I said, the Nussmeier train is gone. Which I like I said, I didn't want Nussmeier on this team anyway. Not because he's an LSU player, just because I don't want Dad coaching the son. You know, if the Saints do make a move for Nussmeier, it may not be until day 3. You know, they don't have a 4th round pick right now, but if he's available in the 4th, I could see them maybe drafting him then as just as a backup or somebody to compete. But anyway, yeah, there's other quarterbacks out there. We'll talk more about that later on. Matt, I appreciate you jumping in on the show in the last minute like this. I know people can find you on social media as Budrich. You're also on the Saints Happy Hour Discord channel often.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be talking a lot more about draft stuff as the season winds down and it gets to the college bowl season. Anywhere else they need to find you or can find you that I haven't mentioned yet?
No, really, no. You pretty much mentioned it.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you chiming in and pinch hitting for Bob. Hopefully Bob gets his technological stuff straightened out. Appreciate all you guys from joining in on us and watching the show tonight. And we'll see you next time on Under the Dome. Good night, everybody.
Good night.